Hello, thank you for joining me for today's video. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia. Today I'm actually not doing my Facebook Live because I'm at the OnStage convention in Sydney, but I decided to show you what I've done for my swaps and how I made it. So if you haven't heard of swaps before, at convention we all make a 3D thing or a card or whatever we want to, and we swap with each other. So we get lots of different ideas to make different cards, which we'll then come back and share with all of you. My swap is a glue holder. We all know that it's much easier if you store your liquid glue upside down, then at least when you want to use it, the glue's all at the top and you don't need to shake it down. So this is a little box which is going to hold my glue. To make this, I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that is 13.5 by 19 centimeters long, which would be 5 1/4 by 7.5 inches. And we're going to do some scoring. On the long side, I'm scoring at 4.5 centimeters, 9 centimeters, 13.5, and 18. And if you're working in inches, that's going to be 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7 inches. And on the short side, I'm going to score at 4.5 and 9 inches, which would be 1 3/4 and 3.5. That's our scoring done. Now we're going to cut up all 4 tabs on the long side, and I'm going to remove those 2 small rectangles on the top. Before I cut the long tabs, I'm just going to give it a good press just to reinforce those folds. And now we're going to cut up all 4 of these tabs. I'm using the smallest of the scalloped circles from the Layering Circles dies, and we're going to cut that out from the center of the square that's just underneath that tab. Now we need some designer series paper. I'm using the Fitting Florets designer series paper. If you haven't seen this yet, this is available only until the new January to June 2023 catalogue goes live, because that Fitting Floret stamp set and dies is going to be in the catalogue, but this designer series paper isn't. Now, if you're using paper that's directional, the important thing to remember is that on the bottom tab, you want to stick that piece of paper upside down. If it's not directional, it doesn't matter. It's the way that that's going to fold that it's right way up if it's upside down. Otherwise, it's going to be on its head. Now, although this paper isn't really directional, I'm just thinking that that looks like it could be the other way up. So that one's upside down. And then we're going to stick the other 3 along those 3 squares. If it's directional, then you want it facing you so that it's the right way up that way. But if it's not directional, then it doesn't make any difference. I'm going to put this one on the end just because it's got that same little grouping of flowers, so it's over there. They are going to all fold up anyway. Now, if you wanted to, you could make something to go on top. You could punch out a daisy or do something for your flowers. I think that this DSP is pretty enough that you don't need to do anything extra with it. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape across there. Now, if you're watching my video because you're at convention and you swapped with me, then this is how you would have received your swap. I'm putting it like that into a bag. That just makes it easier for me to transport flat rather than having a box which can get squashed. So you either would have assembled it yourself at convention or you're ready to do it now. To assemble it, we're going to take the backing off that tear and tape. And we're going to fold that down and stick that over there. That's then popping up like that. And now you can decide when you're doing this, if those tabs feel like they're catching, then you can just notch them. We're going to fold those in and put a bit of glue on there. Remember that you want your piece with your designer series paper to be on top, so just be aware when you're folding which way you're folding. And I can't remember, I think that it was that one that was the bottom one that I said to you, remember to stick it upside down so that it's the right way up. But now you can see all our pictures, our DSP is the right way up. Our glue can just pop in there and we're ready to craft. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you make these and find them really useful, or maybe you want to give them to your crafting friends as a little present. If you swapped with me, thank you for swapping, and I hope that you've enjoyed this swap. Happy crafting. Bye.